are so many people out there who want to volunteer and find a way in which they can help.
We've got some brilliant people that have come out of the school system here in Attleboro.
You actually perform as an elected official the way people should.
There are no agendas. Nobody has any projects that they have to complete, but we're just sharing information.
Welcome to another episode of People It's Good to Know. I'm your host, John Davis. And today we're fortunate to have a good friend of mine with us, Tanya Oliveira, the founder and president of Kreative Yhues,
Yes.
A local small business that's located here in the Attleboro area. Tanya, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and your background?
Sure. So my name is Tanya Oliveira, and I have been living in Attleboro now. This year makes year 5. I come from Brockton, Massachusetts. I basically grew up there, but my mom was basically a Rolling Stone, so we kind of lived a little bit of everywhere. So I grew up in New York, I grew up in Florida, and I was born in Cali. So I've been living here for about 5 years. I bought a house here in 2022, and I'm just, creating cement feet here in Attleboro. I'm really enjoying living here. It's really great for my daughters. I have 2. One will be 19 actually this Friday. She'll be 19.
Oh, that's great. And
then I also have a 10-year-old who goes to Brennan Middle School.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
That's really nice. So, as I said in the intro, you're a small business owner and founder. You want to tell us a little bit about the business you created and what it was that led you to create a business like that?
Sure. So my business is called Kreative Yhues, and it is to destigmatize mental health within the community, primarily the Black and Brown community, but it is for everyone, so that we could shy away from looking at mental health in a way that it has to be heavy all the time. It doesn't need to be a heavy situation. Sometimes you just need to be able to step outside of yourself and do something creative. So that hence Kreative Yhues. So it's being a blend of hues. So it's you and hue and the blend of the two, and we create different things to be able to draw out your emotions in a way of mindfulness. So whether it's drawing or crafting, journaling, grounding meditation, workshops or activities, I do all of those different things in a different kind of unique way in order to help people to take their pain or their challenges, turn it into power, and give it a new purpose.
Well, and I find that really quite intriguing for a lot of ways. First of all, when we first met, I don't know, 6, 8, 10 months ago, we were at a local event with a bunch of city officials, and I was just standing there listening to you talk with the mayor and a couple other people about all the things that you've done just in the last year or so. And I was, again, as someone who's met a lot of people, I was really impressed by the number of different activities that you've gotten yourself involved with in such a short period of time.
Yes.
You want to share a few of the other things you do with us?
Sure. So I am the treasurer for the Cultural Council. I'm also a member on the Council on Aging. I'm on a couple of other committees within the city. I had a mental health and wellness fair back in September. It was an interactive walk where you walked through the downtown area, stopped in the local businesses, and each business that you stopped into that had my flyer in the window, I had individuals take a picture and then post it with the hashtag Meet Your Neighbors to be able to kind of engage in the downtown area, because it's so nice downtown. It's beginning to blossom, and there's all these little businesses. It's just really cute. And so as individuals walk down into the downtown area, there's the area of Cuddy Court, which some people, if you are a longtime resident of Attleboro, you know where Cuddy Court is. You know that alley, or they called it different names, I guess, back in the day, but Cuddy Court is right behind, what is that garage that's over there?
Yeah, it's a parking garage off of Bank Street, Bank and Sanford.
And so right in that area, I had, that's where I had the central mental health and wellness fair, where there were different vendors, about 23 different vendors, and city nonprofits that were all engaged in there. There was live music, there was a photo booth, and I also had a bouncy house, but think outside the box. For the bouncy house, it was a Hungry Hungry Hippo bouncy house for for adults, because the goal was to have individuals think of mental health differently. So it doesn't just have to be that you're going to therapy. It's all of the things that you do in your regular everyday life.
Learning to relax and just be.
It's just relax and just be. And so that's why I had the Hungry Hungry Hippo, to remind to remind adults that you can be a child. You can, you can still go back into that nostalgic moment where you wanted to beat everybody and eat up all of the, the balls in the game. And just to be able to do that was, fun watching adults go up there and do that. But it was also kids could go in there. But I was gearing towards the adults. And I just feel as though it's really important to be engaged within your community, and to be a face for individuals that might not feel as comfortable to be out in front of everyone and kind of speak up for everyone. So I try to just I want to be able to be a voice for the people that feel unseen or unheard at times, and just speak up for them.
I think that's great, and I think when you reference about your neighbors. I mean, the preference when I created this show, it was on the premise that when I was a kid, if you had a problem, you knew who in the community to go to. Yeah. Today, you could have an issue. The guy down the street could be the world's leading authority on that. But you wouldn't know, because most people don't even know their neighbors anymore. Yeah. We've become so isolated, and along with that goes this whole mental challenge that's associated with isolation from the public the way we once were. Yeah,
I agree. I being that I grew up in Brockton, it reminds me of Attleboro in that way that you did know everybody I did. I knew everyone in my neighborhood, and we knew each other. It was a community, and community is what's important. So if you don't have, it's not just about community though, right? If you think about community, it's bring all those together, but it's also about having a village mentality that, like you said, you knew who could fix X, Y, and Z. You knew who to go to that had, they might have daycare services. They might have a resource for you to, paint your house, or, the local plumber for the town, or you just know these people. And I feel like if we could just get back to that place where you know your neighbor and you meet your neighbor, and it's not just the business neighbor that I was targeting. I was saying, meet your neighbor. It's not just about the person who lives next door. It's also about your business neighbor, because they're important to know too.
Right. Yeah, I see that all the time. I mean, I'm constantly dealing with local small businesses, and it's amazing to me how many of them don't know the guy who has a business 100 yards down the street from them. Again, we've become more and more isolated. So what has been the path you've taken so far in creating your business, and how did you decide that helping people in the way you wanted to could actually be a viable business?
So it's like I'm a very transparent person, so I always like to be upfront about me, right? So what caused me to open my business was that I experienced domestic violence, and Attleboro became my safe space. And when I came here, going through the different organizations, and nothing against them, but I started to feel like a piece of paper instead of a person, because they just, I had to relive my trauma over and over again, but no one really asked me, who are you? What aspirations do you have now moving forward? What's your intention for your life? What kind of friends are you going to have? What's your favorite color? What song does Tanya like today? And so through my healing process, I began to write. I journaled, and as I was journaling, I added on different elements along with that, like mindfulness or grounding, meditation, just trying to come to a place that I felt safe within myself, because a lot of times when you think about when anyone, we might talk about our emotions, but then we can put it, that's it. If you talk about it, it goes out, and then that's it. You don't have to really think about it. But when I was journaling and I was placing my emotions in different tangible items, I had to see my emotions. I no longer had the choice to kind of like push them away like they never happened. And I decided that would be I wish there was a me. I wish there was a me that did the same thing. And maybe there are many, but there's only one Tanya. And so I began doing my mindfulness activities with my kids first inside the house, and we would do different activities. And then, earlier this year, my mentor, she basically said, go for it. And she wasn't the first person. It was many people, even you, that gave me additional confidence to know that I was capable to do what it is that I felt as though I should do for others, or to live and walk in my purpose fully without fear. And so I did that. And it's been the best experience to be able to see someone else truly embrace their emotions, absorb it, and then squeeze out that positive purpose out of it, just for it to be something different and something new. So it's always something tangible that you're pouring it into, per se.
It's really intriguing. Again, this is an area that I have no knowledge and expertise in, but I do know from dealing with people constantly that especially since the pandemic, the level of stress and anxiety people feel has dramatically increased.
Yes.
And I think you've found sort of your calling is perfectly aligned with helping people alleviate what is a growing issue at the moment.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think mental health has always been an issue, but discussing it has always been taboo. If you talk about if you tell someone you're going to a therapist, what do they think? It's like, what's that first thought? Oh, something's wrong with them. Oh, they've lost their marbles, or, they're not stable, especially because I'm first generation Haitian American. And so in my culture, talking about your emotions is not a thing, like at all. And I could say that's probably a lot of cultures experience that, but in my culture, we it's there's a saying, it's lakay, l'école, l'église. And so it's school, work, church. So everything else doesn't matter. As long as those things is happening, you're good to go. You don't have emotions. You're not supposed to. But what I learned over time is that we do have emotions, and we should be able to embrace them and talk about them and address those things that you have going on. But it doesn't have to be heavy. It doesn't have to be heavy.
Right. It doesn't have to be. You don't need
draining.
Deep, serious counseling, and oftentimes it's simply a matter of having someone who understands and is willing to listen to the problems that you face. Because, as I've said a million times, if you're having a problem, you can be pretty certain there are several other people out there having similar problems. Nobody is truly unique. We all have very similar challenges. So what other activities are you looking forward to getting involved with in the city? I mean, seeing how much you've done in such a short time, I can only wonder, okay, what else is she thinking about?
So I wanted to, I have a couple of ideas in my head about what would be fun activities to kind of draw people out. One of them is having an ugly holiday sweater party. I'm just trying to lock down the location, but ugly holiday sweater day is December 20th, which is a Friday, and so that has been in my mind that should be one thing to do. And every month I would like to do a little something, or every 2 months to do a little something. In February have a Galentine event where it's women come together and be able to celebrate each other and the things that we have going on. In April I want to do so every other month. I would like to do something where it's engaging,
some kind of group activity that
some type of
includes
group activity
people.
Yes, that leads to my probably I would love to have another mental health and wellness fair. And have it in a different area that people aren't like, where is Cuddy Court? Where is that? Where it's not kind of tucked away and it's kind of out in the open, maybe, one of the parks or even in Cape Ren. Just to kind of engage the the city. Let them know that, you know, there's different things to do. There's always things to do in Attleboro, always. Yeah. But there's
that is one of the things about our community, is that there is quite an array of activities to do. Yeah. And oftentimes we're not always aware of all of that that's going on in our community until afterwards. Yes. And we hear about it, read about it. Right, I would have liked that. But I'm sure that if you do a second fair like that, it'll probably go even far better than your first. The first time you do anything, it's always a challenge. Yes,
and it was quite learning experience. It was a great experience. It was a part of the TDI Mass Development Collaborative Grant, the SEEK Collaboration Grant. So I did that collaboration with Todd Holton from Holton's Physical Therapy, and Erica Green. I was speaking with Todd this morning. And Erica Green from the gym. And they're both Attleboro businesses. And so, you know, it was a great experience to be a new business with no prior experience of being an event coordinator, organizer, and facilitator, but to just have that camaraderie between two other businesses that didn't have to work with me, but they chose to work with me, and you know, I'm forever grateful to the both of them.
And that's great. And there are a number of really great people in our community who oftentimes they would like to do something, but they need someone to egg them on, someone to kind of be that spark that makes it happen. Yes. And I think it's one of the appealing traits that you have, is that I think you're an initiator. You make things go. One of the other, you mentioned the TDI group. One of the other things that you participated in that's I believe directly related to that is that E4All program, where they help young entrepreneurs. You want to talk a little bit about that?
So the E4All program is it's for 1 year, but they have a 12-week accelerator program where they teach you about everything business from A to Z. And so I started that in July, and in October we had our graduation ceremony and our final pitch, where you stood before some judges and the crowd, and then you pitched your business. And so when I started in July, I didn't have any experience. Well, I'm still learning, but then I didn't have any experience with business at all. And in that 12-week time frame, I was able to meet all of the goals that I had set for myself. One of the goals was, to get a grant, and I achieved that by getting the SEEK collaboration grant. Another one was to have the community engagement, which was my mental health and wellness fair, and then lastly was to launch my workshops. And by the time we were having our final pitch in October, I had 3 successful workshops at that point. So it was such an exhilarating experience, because it let me know that I was capable of doing all things, as long as I put forth the determination to get those things done, that I can achieve it. And so I hope that that my kids seen it, because they're the ones that really, they drive me. My husband was so supportive the whole time. He was like my set person for the whole for the event. He was like he just did all of the things. They all did all of the things that and just made it really seamless for me, as well as other friends and family being there to support. Having that level of support is always key with any business. I think it's people believing in you as much as you believe in yourself.
I think it's one of the keys to success in life, right, is having a network of support around you. It makes all the difference in the world. I mean, if you think about it, almost all the most successful people I know, big part of their success was due to the environment they put themselves in, the people around them to support them. So if somebody was interested in being part of the services you provide. I mean, this isn't like an infomercial where we're trying to sell. But if someone said, geez, I wonder how that woman's program could help me, how would they go about reaching out to you? Yeah,
so I actually have workshops every Wednesday. Right now they're in Taunton, which is in person, but I also do it hybrid, so they can always hop on a Zoom and be able to interact and participate in my workshops. But I will be having my workshops in Attleboro because I'll have a location in Attleboro that I will be launching in January. So I'm really, really excited to be able to do it here in Attleboro.
Right. Yeah, it's always great to be able to have your business located in the community where you live.
Yes.
I think it does make a difference.
It does, it does. So I'm really excited for that.
Excellent. So how would people go about contacting you if they had questions or if they were interested in maybe learning more about what you're doing? Sure.
So I am on, and I'll talk to you.
Yeah.
So again, my name is Tanya Oliveira, and you can contact me. I'm mostly, it's the greatest place you can see all my content is on Instagram, and so it's Kreative Yhues. And you can also email me at tanya@kreativeyhues.net. Or give me a call, and that's all located on my on my page as well.
That's great, because I'm sure there are a number of people who would be intrigued just to find out more about what the possibilities are of some of the we'll call them workshops that you're going to put on. One of the things that intrigued me when we first started talking about this was the wide variety, I think, of potential applications for this, from more or less counseling large corporation executives who have certain stress, to parents who are dealing with small children, to the whole gamut of people out there who could benefit in one way or another from some kind of program.
Yes. So my workshops are not geared towards one. So for example, last week, a mother came in with 2 of her children. I didn't know she was going to come in with her children, and my workshop was still I was able to do my whole workshop without any hiccups, because it is about embracing your emotions. So for example, so this month it's called Harvesting Your Emotions, and so I provided everyone with a plate. And on that plate each week, you're building your emotions on that plate. So whether it's, positives or negatives, you're like building upon that and like figuring out how to remove certain things from the plate of your gratitude. Plate of gratitude is what it's called. And so this week, tomorrow actually, I have my workshop at 7 o'clock, and it's going to be about, do you need that on your plate to eat? And a lot of times when people are going through things or they're experiencing different parts of their lives, they're adding all these things onto their plate that they don't need. Right. Like stress, there's certain stressors that you don't need them to be there. Why are you holding on to something or harboring this thing that's not serving you?
That we may not even be thinking about until someone points it out, right?
Yeah, or it's not serving you. It's not a good food to eat. It doesn't need to be on your plate. So I'm teaching people about what it is you can do to just take that one aspect of a one negative thing. Just let's remove that from your plate. You're opening up your plate and your palate to experience a different emotion or experience a different purpose or power. And what do you need it there? So let's let that go, and let's put something else that's going to be more conducive to you having a more I don't want to say happier, but being able to have joy or having a level of gratitude for the things you do have. That part of it is not necessary. It's not needed.
I think gratitude is a key term to use. I think a lot of us don't always think in those kind of terms. We take the good things for granted, and then we sort of ruminate on all the negative stuff.
Yeah.
and I think that's one of the challenges, especially overly busy and sometimes ambitious people. They bring all this negativity upon themselves and wonder why things aren't going the way they would like.
Yeah.
How do you see the support you've gotten from other small business people and other people you've met in the community? Have you been sort of well received? I mean,
So the way I am today is the way that I am with everyone. So I don't, if you see me walking down the street and you said hello, I'm saying hello back. Or if there's an engagement that's happening, I'm a firm believer that whatever you give out, you get back.
Right.
So I make sure that what I'm giving out is positivity. What I'm giving out is someone to feel like, you know, sometimes you walk by somebody and their face is stone cold and you're like, oh my goodness, what, you know, like I just wanted to say hello. Or for me, that's not a thing. If I see you and we're walking by, you will see, I'll smile because the other person, the only thing that they're going to do back is smile back. Right. And it's a welcoming. I know that I feel as though I have a welcoming personality and I present myself as myself at all times. So because of that, I feel like I've been received well. I don't think I can't say that I haven't, but if, you know, I always say, I say to my friends, if people don't like me, then they have to love me. Because I'm always me. I don't try to be anything other than myself. And I feel like that's sometimes what people miss, is just, you don't have to put on a mask. You can just be who you are. And people should be able to receive you the way that you are.
Well, I think isn't that the underlying theme of the business you've created, right?
Yeah.
Is to make people come to accept who you are, what you are, and if you realize that, that's just fine.
Yeah, and my hope is to help people to see the best versions of themselves. That you don't have to. You can feel all the emotions that you feel, because it's not just happy, sad, mad, glad. You know, it's not
variety.
There's so many different emotions. There's an array of emotions that you can feel, but it's acknowledging those emotions that you do feel that can help you to address any other issue that you have going on, is by embracing it.
That's really great, and you know, we're just about out of time. But I want to thank you for being here, to share with people. I also want to congratulate you on starting your own business and all the other good things you've done to contribute to the community. Like being part of the Council on Aging, that's significant. People need to get more actively involved in things like that. And I wish you the best of luck in the future.
Thank you so much.
And I'm sure that we'll see you out there sometime soon.
Hopefully.
Again, thank you for being here.
Bye, guys.
And thank all of you for tuning in this week, the people it's good to know. There are so many people out there who want to volunteer and find a way in which they can help.
We've got some brilliant people that have come out of the school system here in Attleboro.
You actually perform as an elected official the way people should.
There are no agendas. Nobody has any projects that they have to complete, but we're just sharing information